This podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors. Your San Diego County Toyota dealers. We've got what it takes. Fix Auto. Corky's Pest Control. And Lolita's Family of Restaurants.
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to another week of Laxcast. I am your host, Christian Pedersen, joined by the actual star of the show, Coach Tom DeMeo. Coach, thank you very much for being here. I'm excited. I love this more than any other podcast that we do because we have close games every week. We have big games to talk about, and that's exactly what we're going to get to. So let's start. Actually, I'll introduce the concept for those of you that are new to this. It goes game balls, talking about the week that just happened. Then we have a little discussion piece, and then we talk about games that are coming up this week. So, Coach, let's start with our game balls. We're just going to kind of run through a couple of one-point games to start with. Monte Vista for beating Santana. This one out in Spring Valley. They're down in Division II, but anytime a one-point win, I want to say run, but I know that's not the right. I got baseball in the brain. But any one-point win, I feel like that's a big win, right?
Yeah, I mean those are great games for those guys to compete in. And again, it's Division II. Lacrosse is newer down that way, and one-goal games are just fun. And
that's a universal language in sports. So a one-goal game is a fun game. Another one-goal win, Rancho Bernardo for beating Pacific Ridge. Kind of a big win for the Broncos. Nice bounce back.
Yeah, they were struggling early on. They had a couple good games, and they had some injuries, and apparently got some guys back and beat a good Pac Ridge team. So I've seen both those guys play, and that's a good win for them and the coach.
Kind of a confidence builder there for the Broncos, like you mentioned. They are a team that is putting the pieces together. They'll get to it to the point where we could see them playing their best ball at the end of the season. Keep it going up in the North County. We haven't talked about Mission Hills yet this year. They got a big win over Vista, 9-4. Always great to see a new team being talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, as they add these programs, we have all these different high schools playing. It's great that they're winning games and being competitive, and whether it's a one-goal game or a six-goal game, it's great that they're out there playing.
You're prophetic in bringing up that six-goal game, because that's our next game ball is to Bishops for beating Westview by 6. It's almost like we rehearsed this beforehand. There's 3 or 4 podcasts that we delete every single week. Bishops, they didn't play as many games early season as other teams, so there's kind of an unknown factor about how good are the Knights. Then they came out and they smacked Westview, who was number 5 in the county at the time. Big win for the Knights.
Yeah, I mean that was I think one of the first local games, or at least one of the first couple. And when I looked at the score, 12-6, I said, wow, they must have played really well, because Westview's a good team. We played them earlier this year, and Bishops must have been firing on all cylinders. So.
And then let's transition into you getting some firsthand experience with Bishops. Game ball to Santa Fe Christian for 1 second or 4 seconds left. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about. I'll give you the stage here.
All right, so we beat Bishops 6-5, and that was a big win for us. It's my first win over Bishops. I don't think the school would beaten Bishops in lacrosse since 2008 or something way back. So big win for the kids, league game, rivalry. We scored with 3 minutes left and with 4.5 seconds left in the game to overcome a 5-4 deficit late. So kids grinded it out. Kids played great, and it was a fun game. Fun for both teams.
Big confidence builder and a sort of an announcement. Hey, Santa Fe Christian's here. We're not just the D1 guys. We're flirting with Open Division now. And speaking of Open Division, let's give our last guys game ball out to Torrey Pines. The Falcons still undefeated. It's not so much a specific game ball as it is just congratulations for remaining a top team.
I think they might be rated the top team in the West right now, and they're nationally ranked in at least the top 20. I haven't seen this week's rankings, but they're a good team, and they're undefeated, and we'll give them a game ball till they lose.
Absolutely. Over to the girls' side, let's give out a couple game balls. Mission Hills, again, we're going to talk about both the guys and the girls of the Grizzlies for beating Scripps Ranch with the kind of goal play that Scripps Ranch has with Sam Fish. Always an impressive win against them.
Yeah, I mean, coming off a championship last year and great goaltending in the girls' game and the boys' game. If you beat a good goalie, that's a good day.
Then another game ball, last game ball goes out to the Cathedral girls. 22 goals scored over Otay Ranch. The Otay Ranch scored 13, so this in general was a high-scoring game. Maybe both teams deserve a game ball, but how impressive is it putting up 20+?
Yeah, I mean, as coaches, sometimes we always look at scores, and if you see 20 goals scored, you say, wow, that was really a mismatch. But if the other team's scoring 13, that's a lot of goals. It's a lot of offense, and offense is fun to watch. So that must have been a good one.
Let's transition now to our little break before we get to our game previews. Ask you a little question. This is where I like to bounce some of it off of you, get to know the game a little bit better. We're starting into league play now, all across the county. Does anything change mentality-wise, aspect-wise, preparation-wise now than, say, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Well, I think that, league play definitely has a little bit more excitement to it, a little bit more important than maybe non-conference games. But I think that your teams and your coaches. You play them twice a year, every year. You know them a little better, and so the preparation's a little cleaner and a little bit more decisive. And so I love league play. I think it's fun.
Don't we all? And then let's talk about some upcoming league games, our previews. So starting on the guys' side, Point Loma, they're looking to snap their losing streak against Saints. Tell me a little bit about this game.
Well, I mean, Saints has been playing well. They've won most of the games in the division, I think, and I think they're going to be one of the Final Four. Saints will be one of the Final Four teams in Division II. So
Saints really looking like one of the upstart teams this year. That's not we got one good kid and we're riding him to success, but actually the program is being built.
Yeah, absolutely. And we play them later in the year, so I'm rooting for them to continue to have success. So we have a good game with them in May.
Let's talk about a team that you've already played this year. Bishops will be taking on their cross-street rival La Jolla. This one is a pair of teams that really need a signature win right now.
Yeah, I mean, I expect this one to be good. I've played Bishops. I watched La Jolla play against Coronado, and I think this will be a good game. And Bishops has some athletes, and La Jolla has good goaltending, and they have the coaching strong over there, and they move the ball well, and I think it's going to be a good game.
Let's talk about the one last team remaining in La Jolla. The Tories of La Jolla Country Day are going to be traveling down to the South Bay to take on Otay Ranch. Otay Ranch, they're a high shooting percentage team. They shoot a lot and very frequently early in the game. What are they going to see in the Tories?
Well, the Tories, they're always tough on faceoffs, and they grind out ground balls, and they have a couple good defensemen over there, so it's never easy to score on them, and they tend to have low-scoring games, at least in the past. This year they've had some higher-scoring games. But
they've stayed real close, and although even their losses have been really tight games.
Tight with La Jolla, tight with Colorado Academy, and so their scores have been impressive, tight with Mount Carmel. So I think it's we play them later in the week too. So I'll be interested to see how they do against Otay, and then against us will be a challenge.
So the Tories have a big week for them, folks. Let's switch over to the girls' side. I love saying this sentence. Both of these games, I love. La Costa Canyon is going to play Poway. I want your take on it first, then I'll give my input here.
I mean, that's really two of the top couple teams fighting for that spot to be playing Tory in the end.
Yeah, this is ultimately who's going to play Tory game.
Yeah, I think this is it's on the boys' side and the girls' side. This is always a good game, and we talked about that one last week. So I'm expecting this to be another good game. I think La Costa lost to La Jolla earlier in the year, so they'll be looking to avenge that by beating Poway, and I think they'll feel good about that.
Absolutely. And folks, for you at home who have kids that are still up and coming in the game, this is the kind of lacrosse that you want to expose them to. This is really the best thing. This might be as good as mediocre college lacrosse on the girls' side. It's the kind of thing that if you get the opportunity, go out to Poway later this week and check out this game. Another one to check out, La Jolla, the undefeated Vikings who are on fire this season, are going to be taking on the Cathedral Catholic Dons. This one, like we've talked about earlier in the year with La Jolla only having one senior on their team, this could be a very interesting legitimate coming out party for La Jolla, being like, hey, we are an open division talent. We're here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting having a young team. They have one senior, and I think they're making a play to be, just like we talked about with Poway and LCC. They beat LCC. I think they're making a play to be that team that competes with Tory in the finals or the Final Four, and ultimately next year will be interesting. Are they going to take that next jump?
We were saying that. This is more of the who might challenge Torrey Pines in 2018 type game.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's been a few years, and maybe Coach Kitty and La Jolla will be the team.
There you go. We'll have to find out. We'll be back next week to tell you how it all went down and see who is potentially the team coach. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you this week. Folks, check in with us every week. We got our top 10s. We got highlights from games. We got another podcast next week. Thank you very much, and take it easy.